Hi everyone, my name is Erin Wien and I will be your child's algebra teacher this year. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about myself and a little bit of information about algebra class, and if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. This is my 29th year at Carmel High School. I graduated from Purdue University, and this was my first job out of college, and I've stayed here the entire time. I went to Greenwood High School, and I also got my master's from Ball State. I have been in the Freshman Center since the Freshman Center opened. I love working with freshmen. Freshmen are a lot of fun. They have a lot of energy. I enjoy each day that I get to spend with them. I have 3 kids of my own. My oldest, Logan, is a teacher at Creekside. He teaches 7th grade history. My middle child, Camden, is a senior at Purdue, and he's studying accounting. And my daughter just graduated from Carmel last year, and she is a freshman at Purdue studying elementary education. I want to also give you a little bit of information about the class, just to tell you what class is going to look like each day. I do have a full-time resource teacher in here with me. Her name is Nicole Bonacker, and so she is also able to work with your child. She helps circulate the room, answer questions. She can work with your kid during SSRT, just like I can. So I wanted to let you know she's in here. A typical day of algebra, what that would look like is when your child comes in, we'll usually start with a warm-up. The warm-up will review what we do the day before or the class before, and will help just go over those items that they might have had trouble with, just re-emphasize some key points. After that, I usually have the kids work on something that is a new topic, and I try to have them discover a little bit about what that would look like. I try to relate all topics to real-world questions so that as they process the algebra, it's through a real-world context. They will work in groups of 3 each day, and 3 or 2. I have been doing 2, and I randomize those groups so that they're always working with different kids. So we work at our desks and try to figure out what it is we're looking at for the day and how it relates to the real world. Once we've done that, we will head to vertical boards. So I have whiteboards hanging around my room, and those groups will go up to the whiteboards and do their work at the whiteboards to practice. The nice thing about the whiteboards is it helps Nicole and I to see their work, and it also allows the kids to look around and get ideas from other kids. It's just a great way to get the kids out of their seats, to get them working in groups, and to help each other as we go. So once we work through the topic at the boards, the kids will come back to their desks, and sometimes we'll practice a little before we leave, and they'll always be given a homework worksheet. So the reason why I give them a worksheet as homework is I want them to show their thoughts. So I want them to tell me how to do problems, like what it is that they did, share the information of how they solved it, and that way I can see their thinking and know if they're getting it or not. So as they do the homework, if they're having trouble on the homework, then what I want them to do is definitely come in and get help. So we have SSRT every other day. The students are allowed to ask for passes. They can come see me, they can come see Nicole, and we will go over anything that they're having trouble with. Usually the homework will directly relate to the questions they would be assessed on. So if they're struggling on the homework, we want to get that taken care of before we get to the assessment. As far as the grade breakdown in algebra, 85% of their grade will be summative, which would be their tests, and we have about 1 test per chapter. So we'll get through 5 or 6 assessments. We will not take quizzes unless we're just doing informative quizzes in class. So the summative grade is just made of their tests. 15% of their grade will be the effort they put into class, including their homework. So the homework will be the majority of what makes up that 15%. But I also look at their effort in class and how much they're participating and how hard they're trying, and that will go into that 15%. Just looking at my notes. As far as supplies for class, your child will need a notebook. It can be a folder, but I prefer 3-ring binders. I do hole punch everything, so all of their notes can stay nice and neat. So that if they need to refer back to their notes, they've got them. They also need a calculator. So this calculator is the one that I would recommend. It's the TI-30X2S. It's the most common calculator, I think, at the stores. It's usually about $15, but they need to have a calculator every class. We do use them almost every period. For now, I've been letting them check some out, but I would love for them to have theirs on their own so they can use it all 4 years of high school. Let me know if you have questions on that. And the calculator type is linked on Canvas if you need to see that under class resources. And finally, my last thing is my goal for your child. So I love teaching math, and I love teaching math because I want kids to like math. So my number one goal, I guess it's not to walk away and be perfect in algebra. It is to build confidence. So sometimes these kiddos will come in and they've had struggles in middle school or elementary with math and they don't like it, and so they try to avoid it. So my goal is to show them that they can be good at it. I want them to leave with a sense of pride that they understand, and I want them to enjoy coming to class. So I will try to make this as enjoyable as possible for your child. Working with groups has been great because the kids like to work with each other and they are not just focused on me. So hopefully you'll hear good things about class, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you ever have any questions. The only other thing that would probably be good for you to know is class retakes. So I do allow retakes on tests. So if your child doesn't do well on the test, but they have been completing their homework and participating in class, I am absolutely great with them redoing portions of the test or retaking a test to try to help them, because my number one goal is for them to be confident and understand. So we definitely can look at redoing things if they feel like they're having trouble. Please reach out if you have any questions, and I'm so glad I get to work with your child this year. Thank you. Bye.